Our scripture lesson for the New Testament is Philippians chapter 4, verse 12 through 13. It is on page 199 if you would like to follow along in your pew Bible. I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secrets of being content in any and every situation, whether I am fed or hungry, whether I live in plenty or in want. I can do everything through him who gives me strength.
Hello. All right. My name is Jake Lilly. I'm here to talk about our mission trip. So it was Friday the 12th when we arrived at the church for our mission trip. I was packed and I had no idea what was to come with these group of kids. It all started out fine, but then came the work. I had no idea what society needed until that trip. The first thing I remember doing was making enchiladas. That was an experience. I never quite understood the process, and I don't want to go back. But let me tell you, I was a speed demon at it. I'll be honest, I've never been on a mission trip before, but doing work with the people you want to be around is much more fun. Like at the river, cleaning up trash, or at the 99-cent store, doing the same thing. I was quite surprised at what we found there. When we handed out lunches to the homeless, truth be told, I was a little skeptical, but meeting these people was life-changing. It's true some had their spirits taken away from them, but some still laid truthful to what they had, though it wasn't a lot. I love seeing smiles erupt from their faces and relief flood them because they finally had food. After doing so, I felt good. I wanted to keep going, and that's exactly what we did after a good night's sleep. The next day, it was our last day on our mission trip. But one of the most fun, or so I thought. We were supposed to go to San Francisco to feed the homeless, and I was excited to change more lives. After what felt like a long ride, we got to our destination, the Glide Memorial. This was the place where I could feed the homeless. I couldn't wait. Unfortunately, I had to, but I was still excited. Our church had split up into teams. I was working in dish duty with my brother and my best friend. Working there was sad. I was surprised to see how many people took oranges from plates already used. Tensions were high there, but at the end, I was relieved. After meeting up with my church and after doing a lot of hard work, I could finally go home. But with a prize, I felt accomplished. I've never done anything like the mission trip before, but I'd gladly do it again. It's something about doing it with your friends, and the feeling you get makes it worthwhile. I greatly encourage anyone who goes on a mission trip, and you can see how I feel. My name is Jake Lilly, and I hope you enjoy my story.
Hello, and good morning. I am Jake's twin brother, as you probably could have guessed at this point. The mission trip, it took place from February 12th to February 14th, and on Friday, a guest speaker came in and told us how much we could do to our community without putting too much effort into it. On Saturday, we picked up garbage and we made bags and prepared food for people experiencing the homelessness. And on Sunday, we went to San Francisco and went to a kitchen to prepare food for homelessness. And I remember one of the days we were handing out lunches, and we asked the people if they were hungry. And they all jumped up and their faces lit with eager, and it was kind of scary to see how hungry they were and to know that they wouldn't get food that much. And it was a good but strange experience. I never really knew how bad these people needed food. But as I said, on Sunday, we handed lunches, and like Jake said, I was working dish duty with them, and it was disgusting to work with all that dirty food. And we finally asked Lisa for gloves, which she gave to us after a little bit, after pleading, because it was disgusting. Like, the water, I didn't know water just soaked through the gloves, and then there was the ketchup. Ugh, it was bad. Cleaning the food off the plates were even worse, because when we didn't have gloves, it was just terrible. Because you didn't have anything, so you had to kind of just take your hand and brush off all the half-eaten cucumbers and oranges. And the waste bin was incredible. I think we needed another one at one point, but it was worth it to see their faces light up with eager, and I'd gladly do it again in a heartbeat. Well, thanks.
Hello, my name is Riley Chabonneau, and I'm 15 years old. 15 years, quite obviously, is not a long time, but within those 15 years, I've been blessed to have met some of the most amazing people I could ever hope to meet. Almost my entire friend group either attends Carmichael Presbyterian or attends its youth group, and that is why I'm so grateful for what this church has done for me. I have never gone to church every Sunday. I have never been baptized, but my faith hasn't in any way been altered. In fact, this very church is the reason why I aspire to be moral and faithful. Carmichael Presbyterian has not only blessed me with an amazing group of friends, but also with phenomenal experiences that I will never forget, experiences that have helped to shape who I am. One of the most notable experiences I have had through this church was this year's mission trip to Oakland and San Francisco. Being my second mission trip with the youth group, I was beyond ecstatic to start building the tiny mobile homes for the homeless with Greg Clowen. Building, painting, and repairing the tiny homes was by far my favorite service during the trip, because Greg allowed us to decorate and build the homes however we liked. In building the homes, myself and several other friends were able to express our artistic outlooks, and we painted a pre-built tiny home into an old Volkswagen bus. Even though building the homes was an unforgettable experience, we helped many people that week. One day, we drove to San Francisco and met a missionary by the name of Charlotte, who needed lots of help preparing her boat for her mission trip to Mexico. The youth group and I spent 4 more hours scraping off rust and cleaning the entire exterior of the boat so that way Charlotte would be able to repaint the boat. The most touching experience, though, was in Oakland at a community service center. The kids that were there at the center were the happiest and most loving kids I have ever met. They broke down my walls and showed me that all they wanted to do was play, have fun, and be happy. I played with 3 young girls who followed me around the entire time we were at the center, holding my hands, giggling with me, and making even me feel loved. I most definitely saw God that day in those kids, and I felt proud that I was serving the Lord in ways that had really no benefit for me. During the trip, I met lots of new people, including the kids from Siouxland Christian School from Iowa that we stayed at the same church with. It was bittersweet getting to know them, because they were all amazingly sweet and funny people, but I knew when we left that we might not be able to see them again. Fortunately, myself and a few others have still stayed in touch with them thanks to social media. But by meeting them and being with them during parts of the mission trip was another great example of how God's love can bring anyone and everyone together, and that I am beyond thankful for. I would also like to thank Lisa Torgerson for all her hard work putting together the mission trip. Lisa continues to make mine and everyone else's days brighter, so thank you so much, Lisa. And thank you for all you have done in helping us fulfill our mission. We couldn't have done the wonderful things we did without you all.
Hello, I'm Simon Brown, and I'm here to tell you about the mission trip. So essentially, I was new to the youth group, so I was kind of skeptical about doing a mission trip pretty early on, because I really didn't know any of the kids here, thought they were weird, and kind of obnoxious. So I was very skeptical about it. But my mom works here in the preschool and insisted I did some events. So I decided to attend youth group one night, and I got hooked. So I was signed up for the mission trip after youth group one day because my mom insisted on it. And so I was kind of worried I wouldn't fit in and that nobody would really like me too much because I was kind of weird and socially awkward. But then came the mission trip, and I was right. I'm kind of weird and socially awkward. And I felt I didn't fit in, so I was just kind of at the side the whole 3 days. And then, as you know, time kind of flew by, and these kids kind of started sticking to me. Like, I got to know them better, and I became great friends with them, and I learned I wasn't as socially awkward as I thought. They were actually very friendly. They were still very weird, but I love them. And they've shown me God in many ways that I could not explain, or I could at least try to. Throughout the whole trip, I got to build bonds with them that I never want to let go. Whether it was like building up miniature houses that looked like garbage, well, mine specifically. It looked like a dumpster. We like to call it the dumpster. But, you know, despite how bad it looked, I really had a connection with it, and it really made me get closer to God. And the experience throughout the whole thing was just good for me, knowing that I was helping someone in need who really needed a house. And that just really stuck to me as like, oh, these kids are willing to do it. I should too. They're better than I thought. And so days passed by, and I got to get to know them even better than before. Even the other church too, Siouxland Christian. They were some very friendly people. We were also very skeptical of getting to know them too, because they were another church, and we didn't like other youth groups. But we decided to put aside our stubbornness to get to know them, and made even more friendships. And honestly, I think that gets me closer to God than anything else, friendships with other people. That's it.
All right, so where do I start this? Okay, so I started coming to youth group at the Mess Fest. I'll start there. So at the Mess Fest, I knew only a few people, and I met Lisa and Catherine for the very first time, which was awesome, and it was really fun. But now comes the mission trip. The mission trip, we went on the 12th, February 12th through the 14th, which is very fun. And on the 12th, we made enchiladas, as Jake said and Matthew said before. And while we did that, I did with my friends. It was really fun. And we also learned how to help our community. On Saturday, we went down to the river, picked up trash, and had our silent moment of how we saw God that day. And then on Sunday, we actually went down to San Francisco and went to feed the homeless. That was interesting because I did not have to do as much work. I had to just separate eggs and cut up carrots. I thought it was amazing that I was able to help so many people that day, and I was glad I was able to do it, and it was my very first mission trip, so it was very fun. And also, I forgot to mention that when we came back, we also did the planter boxes out there. We also pulled weeds, and it was interesting. I did not have to do that much labor. And what I've learned this trip is that you can help anyone just a small amount, and it's amazing. And that is all.